does things since I've been working here, and every time it's like, oh, I got this.
What she had, yeah.
I got this in Venice.
4 days.
There you go, mister.
Yeah, you're unmuted.
Oh.
Budget meeting. 2 in a row. First item, review and discuss proposed FY 2027 budget preparation for the annual financial town meeting, which will be held on May 19th, 2026, at 7 p.m. at the Wilbur McMahon School. At this point, I think I'll go with John McNamee. Are there any other revisions that were made? I know we made some last night. Are there any others, John?
Let me just go through the revisions so everybody's on the same page. So first of all, the town council salaries were reduced back to the 26 levels So that number has been reduced in the budget to what they were in the prior year. So there's 21,828 showing up in the FY27 budget for town council.
And John, just to orient everybody, I think you're working through the document. It's a 3-page document titled Comparative Amounts for FY26 Budget, Town of Little Compton. FY27 budget. Is that the right thing for people to be looking at?
Yeah, this is on the expense side.
Sorry, thank you. Go ahead.
The town clerk's budget was increased by the $82,000, which was reinstating the clerk in her budget. So that budget now is at $319,916. As we discussed last evening, there was some question as to whether the full amount of the allocation was being made to the senior services. And in prior year, there was a $16,000 contribution made. I had initially reduced that by the amount of the grant that was coming in, and I think I needed to gross that up. So we've added $9,500 to the senior services line item. So that line item now is at $89,700. And the last change was the, which we discussed last evening as well, was the capital that will be funded through the general fund. And that number is $218,000. The balance of $232 based on the budgeted capital expenditures for FY27 will be funded out of Fund 420, the Capital Reserve Fund. So those were the changes that were made on the expenditure side. The bottom line, the operating expenses did not change. Some of the items that were added, I was able to reduce budgets elsewhere, mostly in the town administrator's budget. So the bottom line is still the $18,769,350, which matches the revenues that we're reporting in our budget as well.
Thank you. Any other revisions to this budget from the council?
No, I just want to thank for John with working with me at that senior citizen line to get that clarified. Thank you, John.
You're welcome, yeah.
John, anything else you want to add before I take a vote on this?
No, not at this time.
I'm going to make a motion to send the amended budget to the clerk to deliver to the budget committee. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Second, vote to refer to the town clerk articles under the jurisdiction of the town council for inclusion on the warrant for the annual financial town meeting. And I think you'll find those in the handout here that you have.
Are we talking about grants and charitable, Patrick?
That's correct.
Okay, so we went over that last night. I'll make a motion to approve them as written.
We're talking about the outside of budget?
Correct.
So we're not talking about all the warrant articles, we're just talking about the outside of budget ones?
At this moment, they're under our jurisdiction, yes.
But all of the warrant articles are under our jurisdiction, but you're specifically taking a vote only on the outside of budget items?
Correct.
Well, my motion is on the grants and charitable, which is
Yep.
11.
So I have a motion. I don't see a second. You've got a second. Okay, we're in discussion. We'll take them one by one. And the first one that I see here is see that the town will appropriate the sum of $30,000 to assist in funding the Little Compton 250 Celebrate.
We should talk about that one. All right, I would like to talk about that one a little bit. So when I look at, last year for fiscal 26, the LC 350 organization asked for $15,000. And this one, LC 250, is asking for double that for $30,000. And I know that Patrick stated, last night that we're aware that they have a balance that they've carried over from the 350th. I think it's 29,000 and change. So they have almost 30 to start with, and they're asking for another 30. I'm not against a 250th celebration, obviously, but I guess I just want to say, I think the LC 350 did a tremendous job. We had a summer-long extravaganza. And they also, in addition to the monies that we gave them, they did substantial fundraising and found sponsors for some of the events. And I just wonder, given our current situation financially, if we should be thinking maybe a little more conservatively about having another, several more parties to the tune of $30,000. It just strikes me as a big number. So I just opened that up for other people's thoughts.
Victoria, I had the same comment last night that the 350 celebration was 15,000 and the 250 celebration, I thought it should be the same as last year's celebration, 15,000. I didn't realize they had that much money left over. And I also made a statement when Patrick said the fireworks were 25,000, I said, well, we've got another stroke in here for 7,000 for fireworks. So if we're going to put it in this 250 celebration, and we should take that 7,000 out, that last stroke was on the last page of the booklet we went. That stroke should come out of there. I don't think we're going to have two celebrations.
So when the Little Compton Celebrates 50 sent us their initial request, it was just a brief narrative stating the fact that they had been appointed by the council to organize and celebrate the nation's 250th and requested $30,000. When I saw that that was the only information that we got, I requested more information. So in your binder, there's actually a budget, a spreadsheet budget that they provided for us that shows the events, and they have a Friday event, a family day event, and a Sunday event. And all of them, it looks like totals out to $69,205. And we did ask the question if that included police and fire detail, and it does not. So we know there'll be more than that. Again, they have roughly 30 to start with. Last year was 15. I don't know. It just strikes me as a number, and I think we should discuss it.
Can I say something?
I just want to finish with the council's thought here, that absolutely. Gary, do you have that? You don't have your budget, do you?
No, I actually, I need more booklet. And I was led to believe I wasn't. Have it out in the truck. I could go get it.
All right.
I did see this last night, and that's why I made the comment that $30,000 when last year was 15. There was a lot of contributions last year, so I mean, I think that everybody's got to understand. We just came out of a fiscal problem last year. And my thought is we need to start getting some money back in the general fund. And if the town feels the same way, then maybe they can contribute to some of these fireworks and whatever that there is in this, so.
Gary, can you rescind your motion to do this as a block and can you?
Yeah, I will. Let's, I'm gonna rescind my motion.
Thank you. And Andrew, can you rescind?
I was kind of led to believe that last night we were gonna leave that 30,000 in.
Well, let's do this, Gary. Let's vote on everything, every other article on every other warrant on here under our jurisdiction as a block, and we'll leave this one. Do I have a motion to do that?
Well, we're gonna have to take it up at some time. Might as well get it over now.
Okay, that's fine.
So my thought was, when nobody seemed to want to lower it from 30,000, I said, well, the budget committee will have something to say about it, I'm sure. Because they're gonna scrub this budget again, that's for sure.
Right, so this is, you're absolutely right. So this is draft of the budget. This is the council, these five people's opinion. Then it goes to the budget committee for their recommendation. And then obviously to the town financial meeting. So every person, a taxpayer, gets in their mail a warrant book. And that warrant book says, this is what the town council recommends. And on the other side of it, it says, this is what the budget committee recommends. And they'll put approve or not approve. So I think it's thoughtful that we make a thoughtful decision here on any of these articles. Because when it goes in someone's mailbox, they're gonna know what the five people think up here about these articles.
I don't know if this is the right time to propose this, but is there a way that we can authorize the expenditure of a sum of money and its distribution would be phased so that we can agree to give a sum of money in certain, I'll call them tranches or certain portions, and we can then evaluate. I am concerned that we have not yet solved our problem. And the possibility exists that as we proceed through fiscal 27, we will find that we have planned for expenditures that we don't have revenues for. Now, I don't think there's a skeleton in a closet or anything like that. It's just the fact that I would like to live out a portion of this before we say, sure, all of these, what I'll call discretionary decisions, not paying for policemen or not paying for employees of the town or not paying for things that are hard expenses. These may come to pass in an amount, or we may say in the midst of it, we need to scale that back or we need to drop something out. Fireworks is an example. So could we say in our approval that we want to approve the expenditure of some sum of money in segments that will be quarterly, for instance? And the entity cannot request the entire sum at the outset of the fiscal year. It would be different. It isn't what we've done before.
I have a question. Are you suggesting just breaking the disbursements into quarterly chunks to help with cash flow? Or are you suggesting that you break it into quarterly chunks so that we revisit it at every quarter to say, can we afford this? Can we afford this?
I think the former. I
Okay.
think the former would drive the latter in terms of we would then say any issue with releasing, let's say, quarter number twos, distributions. I'm just speaking from a hypothetical. I don't know if this is even legally enforceable, but it certainly is in the fact that these are people outside of the town government requesting that the town fund certain things. And if the town is going to fund them, could they fund them in phased manner rather than block funding?
I think for me, it would be important to be clear and understand if we're just talking about quarterly payments that people can bank on, because essentially they're giving us their budget and they need to know whether or not we're going to support their budget. Or are we saying quarterly payments if we have the money, in which case they can't count on it for their budget? So I think we need to kind of determine what we're going for with that suggestion.
Well, I think as this aspect with the fireworks, you break it down quarterly, this is gonna come up in August, right after in the first quarter. So you'd have to give them the whole thing because the other 3 quarters, the money's gonna be there and they're not gonna be able to utilize it. On this one, maybe some other ones, we can break it up to quarterly, but on this one, you gotta give them either the whole amount or let them know what they think, what we think they're gonna get. Like I said, the budget committee is certainly gonna have the last crack at this, so.
Well, again, the taxpayers will see what our crack is in their mailbox.
Right. So one other thing, and I think we all know this, that Budget committee can reduce what we give them, but they can't increase it. So if there's anywhere in here that we think is absolutely needed, or there's a question, it's better to put a little bit more in and let the budget committee reduce it, because they can't increase any of these line items. They can only reduce them what we give them. So.
I think if we're gonna let, I think,
I'd make a point.
yeah,
All right,
Just with regard to the budget committee's authority, in the charter, 502 says the committee shall have the authority to recommend the increase, decrease, or elimination of any request for appropriation or line item. So they have the power. I mean, they can, for instance, propose in order to meet a number, they can propose an increase in one and a decrease in another and come out the same. But the charter clearly says that they can increase and decrease.
But they can't increase the bottom line that we give them.
No, it says
So if we give them a budget of 17 million, they can spend 18 million?
They could recommend 18.
they can only make recommendations. They're constrained by the same tax levy limit that your budget will be. So I'm just saying that the charter does give them, the charter says that they recommend the budget to the town meeting.
I believe you are suggesting or you are reflecting a past practice that
Right.
was very, very important to the health of the town's
Right.
financial position. And it was the fact that we, the council, allowed that to not be the case.
Right.
And the allowance is certainly within the charter that the budget committee could do that. But I think this is an example of where we want to say, this is from this seat, this is what we believe the budget is to be. And changes should be rare, quite frankly, if we're working together.
I think we've found out in past FTMs that we've recommended a budget that's right at the 4%. And then somebody will stand up in the audience and say, I want to raise that 250,000. Then we're over the 4% and we have to take it out somewhere else.
that's when we took it out of the unrestricted fund and then go back and slash it somewhere else to balance our budget. That's what got us into this mess. Did you have something? I know you got cut off.
I just hope that if we do put the $30,000 in the budget tonight, that the organization comes forward to the budget committee and presents other fundraising efforts, because as it stands, it seems like the town and their existing budget seems to be propping up the whole affair. And I think that that's a little much to ask of the town right now in the position that we're in. I'd really like to see the committee, do a little bit of fundraising to help with this effort.
I was just going to add also that, first of all, I think our town administrator and finance director did an amazing job working on this budget and presenting us with a balanced budget for the first time that I'm aware of, that reflected anticipated revenues that matched expenses. And so I'm thankful for that. And that work that they did involved speaking with all the department chairs and having, pretty sobering conversations about being conservative in budget projections for their departments. And I thank all the department chairs for working with them on that and being careful with their budgets. The outside of budget requests did not have the benefit of those conversations with our finance director or our town administrator. So this conversation is our opportunity to say how we view this, from the council seat. And so I don't mean to squash a party. I like to have a nice time. I think celebrating 250 is amazing, but it's a big number, and I really do think we need to take a serious look at it.
Spokerelli.
Hi, Michael Pocarelli, 510 West Main Road. I just want to point out that the council funded 350 3 years in a row. So the amount, I'm not saying one thing or another. I just want to point out that 30,000, I think that the council funded 350 to the tune of $45,000. Because I think it was it was $40,000, I think.
For me, I think the important thing to fund is the police and fire number, because that's the responsibility of the town. And that's a big number too. I think that was 31,000. So you're actually funding $60,000 for the 250 celebration, which is proportionately a lot of money. So, thanks.
Thanks.
I'm gonna make a motion. I'm gonna make a motion to appropriate $15,000 to the LC 250.
I'll second that.
Further discussion? Not seeing any? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Have a motion for the rest of the block, Gary?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything there that concerns us. You know, we're looking at a bottom line. And we haven't heard anything from the police or fire. It was 31,000 last year, so there's zero in there right now. I'm not sure what we want to do about that.
It's just, I mean, I suspect it'll be a little lower because there are far fewer events going on with the 250. This is the 2 month long, or I don't know how long the 350 was. It was like over the whole summer, so.
It actually expanded from January 1st of 2025 all the way through the second to third week of August with sporadic, bulk of it was in August, but the majority was in August, but there was random events all throughout the year.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if 250 is doing a huge parade the same way that we did last summer.
No, they say, if you look at your book, you'll see.
Oh, I mean, that must have been one of the bigger expenses for it.
All right, so I'll make a motion to approve all the amounts and grants and the charitable, which there's 11 blocks, and reduce the 350 celebration to 15,000.
It's an 11 block.
A motion's already been made for 15,000 and seconded.
And
You're taking this one out, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9.
all right, I was corrected, there's 9. And I'll make the motion to approve them as written.
Second.
Okay, that's for the rest of them. And just to, as we're in discussion here on that, the question of the fire. I think that once the committee gets a little further ahead from what they've given us, they haven't told us how much. I think they'll need to come to the council for approval for that. And we'll vote on how much money to spend on fire and police detail.
Patrick, let me just read these down so the public knows what we're talking about. The grants, and they come in and ask the town council to approve them. At the Brownell House was 10,000. Little Compton Food Bank, 37,500, which is level funded, just like the Brownell House. Little Compton Community Center meals, 30,000 last year, 30,000 this year. Friends of Little Compton Nursing, 28,000 last year, 30,000 this year. Prevention Coalition, 1,000 last year, 1,500 this year. Stay at Home LC, 11,900 last year, 11,900 this year. Conservation District, 1,500 last year, 1,500 this year. The Wildlife Clinic, which I don't think did they put a request in? I don't.
Yes.
Say, okay, it was 1,078 last year, it's 544 this year. East Bay Community Action, 750 last year, 750 this year.
So Gary, I made a mistake. I'm gonna make this motion. Can you rescind yours again? I have to have it. It has to be read correctly than what you're doing, if you don't mind.
You want me to repeat?
Yeah, no, just rescind your motion. Just rescind it.
Rescind my motion. Yeah, rescind.
And you said, okay. All right, I think we're good. I'm gonna make a motion for the articles that are under the jurisdiction of the town council and refer them to the town clerk for inclusion in the warrant for the May 19th financial town meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Patrick, that was referring to just the 9 that Gary just read.
Right, right. And we made a motion for 350 and also include that.
Just, thank you. What did you just vote on now?
I thought you said for all the articles under the purview of the council, not just the 9.
All
Which would be, include the 250 funding the request at 15,000. Yeah.
It's the whole packet of articles,
Yeah.
whole packet.
not just the out of budget. I just want to make sure that we're all clear on that. Heather, are you clear on that?
I'm not, because
Okay.
I thought he was asking Gary to rescind his motion.
He did, he rescinded it.
Then
I made a motion,
We were voting on the whole thing.
make a motion for the articles that are under the jurisdiction of the town council
You're trying to roll up all of the.
and refer them to the town clerk for inclusion in the warrant for the May 19th financial town meeting.
I asked you if it was for the 9, you said yes, and Andrew just said he was not aware that you were voting on the whole thing.
Okay.
And now you're saying it's not just the 9, it's the whole thing.
It's the 10.
It's the
No.
whole packet of articles. under
He's saying the whole
review.
warrant.
The whole warrant,
Every single article,
the whole warrant.
the whole warrant.
You voted on that.
We did vote on it.
You didn't get a chance to ask a question about
Okay. Would you like to?
it. Just to be clear on, so you just voted on the whole thing.
Clear on that either, so now I'm.
I just had an informational question I wanted to be.
We're good.
Is two things. Is the lease article in here? I'm looking for this. Is that going to be handled separately?
We voted on that last night.
Voted on that last night. Okay,
That is, I think we sent that to the clerk.
okay. And then I just wanted to acknowledge, it looked to me that Heather had taken a version of Carol's suggestion last night with regard to the advisory committees, as they're called here. And the way it's worded here is each advisory budget may be voted as an individual line item. That's new. Is that added sentence?
Was the language, and they can edit it if they need to, but based on last night's meeting, that was a suggestion that multiple have said that seemed like a good idea. Now, if their pleasure decides to change that language, they need to do so.
Well, so the only, I'm just nitpicking now. Bear with me. This is good in a way. So I can live with this. But the language, I'm just looking at it from the moderator's point of view and following the literal language of the charter and also the voters' understanding and that we're consistent. The language of our charter now says that voters may amend the total amount listed for any individual warrant item, but may not amend individual line items within such warrant item. Sort of a terminological thing, but I take this to mean that the warrant item is the article.
Mhm.
This will be article, whatever it is, Article 25, let's say. You haven't numbered them yet. So we're making a statement that's sort of contrary to what the charter literally says. This is Article 23. And then we're adding a sentence to this article alone that says, we're not saying, he said, despite what the charter says, we can vote on individual line item here. So technically, we're making an exception for, excuse me.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Larry.
No, you had a point.
What I would like to say is I would like Anya to speak as a town administrator because she knows that we were very time crunched to get this document together. And I believe she was going to be saying something about that with the way that the council will be presenting.
So again, this is picking, here's a suggestion. I have two suggestions. One is I made the point last night. These are just me. We call this category and we put a heading on it, advisory boards. I don't think this format hasn't been there forever. That, as I say, these are appointed boards. They're appointed boards. As I look at them, they're not all advisory. They have different legal. So I have a suggestion. Again, fine with me if we go this, that we either call them appointed boards, just substitute advisory, just sort of appointed for advisory, which is accurate for all of them. And then this would be just to satisfy me. So if you don't do it, it's fine. But if we call this article, let's give it a number, Article 26, and that said something like 23 A through F, and numbered and put those letters beside each thing, 23 A, B, C, D, E, F, I think there are 6. Then we could say that the article is structured with instructions that are sort of more consistent with the charter. So that's just my suggestion. Then we can say that, we would just say each, let's say, appointed board budget may be voted as individual line item. If we structured the article as one article, sub-articles. So it's just a suggestion, and that's if this is progress if you do it this way, but change the thing to just create through B through E and then put letters beside each, and then it's clear what we're doing there. Thank you. Thank you for working on it. I appreciate
Yeah, I think it's fine to do that or to make them individual articles, whichever you prefer, but
I think the former was suggested by Carol to Heather for ease of formatting or on your end anyway. And if you agree, then.
No, I 100% agree with Larry, and I'm not trying to take his idea, but as I was trying to type it at the last minute today, that was one of my ideas, but I just got the language in there, so it could be discussed by the council how they prefer to have it done.
and I will echo what Heather has said. We've been under a time crunch to reconcile.
I don't have the solicitor here to advise me on that. I couldn't reconsider it and add to my motion, subject to formatting for warrant. I mean, that's an option I could do right now. Or, I mean, I don't have the solicitor here to tell me. Suggest me.
The charter says the clerk makes the warrant.
Right, we're giving it to the clerk anyway to do that.
I made a suggestion.
Yeah.
If you can leave it,
Fine,
Thank you.
I'm trying to take it. Trying.
Point's been taken, Mr. Kennedy. Wait,
So
up room.
Larry, just to make sure I'm clear. So you'd have like 23A would be planning board.
Mhm.
23C would be Little Compton Housing Trust or the zoning board. But because when it says a line item,
It'll have each line with a number behind it.
Okay.
So that, and as Carol said last night, the budget committee may recommend that we adopt everything with one vote. Or if not, if we got to that article and we're doing it differently, the budget committee or a citizen could vote all of them or some of them.
yeah, they can pull something out.
So there will be flexibility at town meeting as to how to deal with it.
So it's the page, Gary, in the packet that is covered with a sheet that has leads at the top. Page that says advisory board at the top. Breaking those out.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I was clear on that. How deep in is that?
3/4 over in. Halfway in.
I just didn't want, yeah, okay. I just didn't, there's no line items under those anyway, so they're just one figure. Just want to make sure there wasn't 2 line items under one. They can start picking that apart. So that's fine.
I look forward to the formatting. I look forward to the formatting. Mr. Kennedy?
Thank you. My name is Vincent Kennedy. I'm a resident of Big Drum Road. I have a question for purposes of clarity, and that is with respect to the property tax line of 16,601. And I want to understand if the 375,000 of past due taxes and 100,000 of interest is included within that number?
John,
John Mack, to be awake.
Shoveling out.
Is he still loud?
And find the unmute button. Yeah, that's included in the total tax number.
Thank you.
Budget. Yep.
Thank you. Picking up on Bob's point about, a multi-year view. Rhode Island General Law 4435-10 requires the town to produce a 5-year forecast. And I was wondering if the town would consider it beneficial for the voters to have that in hand prior to financial town meetings so that they understand the broader context. That we can place this in perspective. My judgment or experience is that if you look year by year by year, you rarely see the trends. So I would recommend the council either develop or perhaps with a budget committee or the town administrator and finance director consider developing that 5-year plan and have it available for the voters. Thank you for your time.
Can I speak to that just
Sure.
quickly? I think that's a great idea. Thank you for that suggestion. I think one of the things that would be really great for folks to see is how we rebuild the general fund, right? That's the thing that we're all wanting to see that get healthy again, right? So by taking the longer view, we can see how we can grow that back and how our spending impacts that. So I think that's an excellent point.
Anyone else?
I'd be willing to work on that if it's help.
I'm going to accept a motion to adjourn. Do I have one? I'll make it.
we doing?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Are you?
I think Heather's still. Are you clear on?
I'm okay. I just didn't realize he was at that point.
Okay.
You've been working with blinders on.
Better head down.
I will make a motion. Motion.
Home for Richard.
Are we, so you're not voting on any of these other items? Or you,
We did in one package.
We did the whole,
We did all the articles.
all the articles.
I just want to make sure you're clear on the document.
I made the motion. You want me to read the motion again?
No, okay.
All right. I'll make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? All in favor?
All right.
Thank you.
Sweetie.